Jumping up with Sarah Sonogo of Tech, and Kansas will have it. This is a Kansas team. They believe they can play with anybody in the Big 12. They've been in so many close games this year. Lily Meister of Kansas said they know how to play in those close games. This team, their record does not reflect how good they are. Brandon Schneider has done a great job overcoming key players with injuries this season. Samaya Nichols been playing with some sore ankles, can't get the shot. Here goes Gemma Nunez. You talk about players that have had an impact for Texas Tech this year. There's one of them right there in Gemma Nunez.
There's a lot of star power on this court right now, Ron, between the offensive firepower on Texas Tech. Both of these teams very defensive-minded, so we're going to talk about defense a lot tonight, but just a lot of elite talent offensively. When you talk about Julia Davis, you talk about Samaya Nichols, Bailey Maupin, because that is a great finish right around the rim with the left hand by Sarah Sonogo.
They need that. Sonogo does not score a whole lot. A lot of people believe she can score a little bit more than she does. You see the extended pressure. Yesterday at practice, Texas Tech practiced for about 2.5 hours. 2 hours was defense, if you take a look at the keys to the game for Kansas.
No, I think the biggest thing is embracing the physicality. They've got to play the game without fouling, and more than anything, this is a huge part of what Kansas does. They have got to win the free throw line battle. And then they have to have multiple contributors in this game. It can't just be Julia Davis and Samaya Nichols. They've got to get 3 to 4 other players involved, whether it's Elle Evans, Lily Meister, or Reagan Williams. They need multiple contributors offensively.
Well, you saw Julia Davis down low getting her first two, the freshman out of Overland Park, Kansas. 5-star recruit, a McDonald's All-American. Talking to Brandon Schneider today about her, he goes, her approach to the game is incredible. Spends a lot of time with Brandon. Brandon goes over all the skill with her, but when they're not practicing, she gets one of the managers or one of the other assistant coaches to come out and work on stuff that she and Brandon were working on. So she's a student of the game and a very smart basketball player. On the reverse, no. Danae Fritz fights for it, comes up with a loose ball, and gives it up to Bailey Maupin out of Groover, Texas. Been at Texas Tech her whole career. Came into the game just 9 points away from 1,700. Currently number 5 all-time scorer in Texas Tech history. How about the keys for Texas Tech tonight?
Well, you've seen it the last couple of possessions. They've got to bring great pressure into this game. They want to try to speed Kansas up. This is a team that if they get into the half court, that definitely works in Kansas's favor. They want to force turnovers. And then for Texas Tech, limit second chance points. When Texas Tech is at their best, they are doing a good job on the glass and finishing defensive possessions with stops.
Well, they go down low again to Davis, and that was one of the keys for Krista Gerlich yesterday in practice. She stressed urgency on defense. But they also want to pressure Kansas's guards so they don't have easy toss-ins down to Davis. And here is Julia Davis. She lives at the free throw line. Out of Overland Park, Kansas. Missed 10 games this season. That really hurt this Jayhawk team. Solid free throw shooter at 75%. She averages almost 8 free throw attempts a game.
Well, yeah, you talk about just Kansas in general. This is Julia Davis to rise up and grab that before it went out of bounds and finish around the rim. Just the court awareness as well of where she was when she caught that pass.
Davis, 11 games, 20 or more points, including 5 of the last 6. Coaching staff was telling us today about her jumping ability. Here is Maupin. Can't get it to go. Whistle and a foul. That'll be on Nunez.
Well, and I think right now the energy that Kansas has come out with has set the tone in this game. And it starts with Julia Davis. Brandon Schneider said her energy and the effort that she brings is contagious, and it trickles down with the rest of this team. And right now, giving Texas Tech a little bit of a taste of their own medicine, forcing 3 turnovers to start this game. Very unusual for the Lady Raiders.
6-0 run now for the Jayhawks over the last minute and 51. Pandell on top. Working on Maupin, no. Jada Malone has checked into the lineup for the Lady Raiders. Copeland has to give it up. That's a 3 on the way. Kansas does not take a lot of 3-pointers. In fact, they take about 17.5, but they only make 6 a ball game. Majority of their points are inside the arc. Nunez gets away from the defense. Nice pass to Malone. Can't finish it out.
Kansas may not attempt a lot of 3-point shots, but they're 31st in the country in percentage. A lot of that has to do with Elle Evans, who just subbed into the game. Leads the nation in three-point percentage. Elle Evans, literally the best shooter in the country, shooting 50%. And so it'll be interesting how that plays out in this game as you see Jada Malone at the free throw line. This is a player for Texas Tech that Krista Gerlich was talking to us about. We feel like we've got an advantage with Malone in the paint, and we've got to be able to establish her early and often. Didn't get the start today. That shows you how deep Krista Gerlich is. You know, this team is. She can really switch up the rotations based on the matchups. And so bring in Malone now these last couple of possessions and looking to establish her. I'm curious to see how much of a presence she has these next couple of minutes.
Well, Texas Tech has started the same starting five every game but one. In that game, Malone started in place of Sanogo. Inside Davis, Snida Collins.
In the country. I want another look at this. I agree. That's a foul right on the top of the head, but Snida Collins making a play on the basketball. That was just a miscommunication from Texas Tech getting matched up in the full court. Davis slipped on the action and getting a wide open look. I really like the momentum that Kansas is coming out in this game with right now.
Well, Davis will go to the free throw line for number 3 and 4 already. Lily Meister wants to come back into the lineup. Again, Davis didn't play a stretch of 9 games from November 19th to December 21st. Player of the year in Kansas last season, no shock there.
Well, and you think about it, like Kansas, 8 of their 10, you're playing 9 of those games without Jalea Davis, who in my opinion is the best freshman in the country right now. I mean, think about that, the type of the impact of not having that type of production.
I mean, Brandon Schneider was telling us earlier today, the preseason, they felt really good about this team, but then Tavis misses the games. Williams misses 6 weeks. Parks really hasn't been healthy. And at times, Samaya Nichols also has some injuries. Inside Malone. It was high, but it dropped.
You don't see that very often. What a great dump down pass there by Snida Collins. They were drilling that and shoot around, attacking the paint and being able to dump down to the post player on the backside, and that's going to be a turn at wing. That's when this team is at their best. I don't think we've seen it yet these first 4.5 minutes, but when they're able to come down, draw the defense, attack the paint, you saw the ball really almost flipped off the clock up there, but then force turnovers and score points off those turnovers. And Krista Gerlich said that in shoot-around to Jada Malone this morning. You've got to be comfortable shooting that 15-foot jumper at the free throw line. That is going to be open for us.
And Jada Malone said one of the reasons she is comfortable is because of Krista Gerlich, who believed in her, didn't really press her at the beginning of the season. Nice job by Malone getting a hand on it. Kansas will have it with 13 on the shot clock. And Kansas is going to call a timeout. 4:56 left to play in the opening quarter. We got a good one in Lubbock.
How about that?
These two have been friends since they were kids, Krista telling me a while back. Here's Nunez. Not a big score. We've seen teams back off her in the last couple of weeks, almost daring her to score. Here's Collins. Collins sees the double. That's what Brandon Schneider was talking about today and how they're going to guard her. And a rejection, shot clock violation.
I got to say, that is one of the best defensive possessions I've seen out of Kansas, at least out of the last few games I've watched. You see how they really sink in. When Texas Tech is able to get the ball at the free throw line, they want to make it uncomfortable for Collins to attack off the dribble, make her not in a flow where she just can't rip it and go. I think that was a great job of that possession. And then just using the length on the perimeter. A player like Elle Evans at 6'3" at the guard spot, that is a difficult matchup in the way she can really disrupt passing lanes.
So they want assignment correct on Collins. They want her to force the ball back from where it came from when she catches it. Here's Sydney Love. She's had some injuries this season, mainly headaches, had to wear sunglasses for a while. On the push up the court.
Yeah.
Count the three.
That is Elle Evans right there. 50% from the three-point line. And if you get Kansas in transition, again, they want to play in the half court, but that's Laia Canesa pushing the pace and doing a great job of understanding her team and where those high percentage shots are coming from.
Evans made 69 three-pointers last year. That's number 2 in Kansas history. Nice defense, Canesa. Shot clock inside of 7. Tech not very fluid offensively here in the early going. Malone, no. Fritz can't come up with it. Elle Evans does out of Edwardsville, Illinois. Spent some time at North Dakota State. Inside to Davis.
I'm telling you right now, the way Kansas is coming out and playing in this game is not what I would have expected. It is typically Texas Tech doing what they're doing defensively with those stops. That is a high percentage look out of Danae Fritz, though. I'm okay with that shot.
Scoring drought over 2.5 minutes now for Texas Tech. The scout for Texas Tech, pressure, pressure, pressure. They wanted to pressure Kansas guards, not allow passes into the post to Davis. And Krista Gerlich's going to call a timeout. Lily Meister gets the 2. Meister, a career high points per game out of Rochester, Minnesota. Started her career in Indiana. 7-0 run now for Kansas, and they hit another 3.
Well, I think one of the interesting aspects of this game, 5 assists on 5 made field goals from Kansas. They're doing an exceptional job right now of sharing the basketball, not just in transition, but in the half court as well. Attacking the paint. You've seen Jalea Davis has been so good. She's going to come up with the majority of her shots down on the block, right around the rim, high rim efficiency. Kansas is really sharing the basketball really well right now.
You know, this Kansas offense, too, is a slow offense. At least it has been in the past. They get about 70 possessions a game. But they're on a 7-0 run. They've hit their last 3 shots with 2:23 to play here in the opening quarter. Bristow doubled. Nunez, wide open shot. That'll be off to the left. Collins takes a swipe at it. Nice job, Evans, with a rebound. And a foul's going to be called. Foul's going to be on Sarah Sonogo. Tech finds themselves down by 8. Only 3 of 9 shooting here in the early going for the Red Raiders. And they shot the ball well this year. Here's Bristow. Bristow, she's going to have it knocked away. Nice job by Meister.
Wow. Talk about making up for a mistake. And I like the aggression out of Jalen Bristow. Texas Tech, I mean, right now they don't have a lot going offensively, obviously. Anyone watching this game right now can tell, but they need Bristow to be aggressive in the full court. She is more than capable of taking it the length of the floor and being aggressive at the rim, but that's just a play on the basketball by Kansas.
Reagan Williams checked into the lineup now for Kansas. For Bristow, she's coming off a game where she had 15. That's the most points she's had since December 31st. Scoring has gone down the last couple of games, including the number of field goal attempts. Again inside, Collins gets a piece of it.
Length on length, and this is going to be the battle here for Collins. I mean, Jalen Bristow is one of the top shot blockers in the country. Elle Evans with her length, and she's flying around and reading passing lanes. Her length is a problem. I've already talked about that.
Well, they're going to call the foul on Hema Nunez.
It's going to be her second of the game. So right now, Texas Tech, Nunez with 2, Sarah Sonogo with 2.
That just looks like a basketball collision to me.
Well, I mean, a lot of the key. I mean, I talked about the keys in the start of the game about playing without fouling, but it really is the case with both of these teams. I think the free throw line and winning the free throw line battle, playing the game without fouling. 2. Kansas winning that battle so far. Laya Canesa with a little floater in the lane. She is more of a pass-first point guard, really facilitate, wants to understand the pace, but again, more than capable of being impactful in the paint. Jalen Bristow, that is a great read. That's the type of look that if you're Krista Gerlich, you hope gets this team going a little bit. Attacking a lane line, whether it's with Jalen Bristow or Snutta Collins, and the reason that happened was because they played with great pace and Kansas was unable to get matched up.
That basket stopped a 4-minute and 20-second scoring drought by Texas Tech. The problem is Kansas is hot. They've hit 4 of their last 5, and they have this lead 17-9.
Well, and
foul's going to be on Bristow, by the way.
We talk about Texas Tech as being one of the top defending teams in the country. They're 21st nationally in scoring defense, allowing just 56 points per game. They're 11th in field goal percentage defense, 16th in three-point percentage defense. But I can guarantee you that Krista Gerlich is not happy with the way the defensive effort, but just, I don't even think it's the effort. It's just, I feel like Texas Tech hasn't been in position to even play in the full court. You know, they haven't even been able to set up their defense and get kind of settled in and established on the defensive end of the floor because Kansas is playing so well right now offensively. Kansas comes in averaging 17 more points than Tech allows. Shot clock at 15 for Collins, directs traffic. Inside, Briscoe uses the bodies, got it. That's her first two of the ball game. It's good patience there by Texas Tech in the half court. Nice job by Evans keeping it alive. Final 5 seconds here in the first. Vanessa loses it. At the buzzer, Sanaya Copeland can't get it to go. But Kansas shoots hard to defend turnovers, and to me, that was the biggest issue with Tech in the first quarter. 10 of the 17 points for Kansas in that opening quarter came off turnovers by Texas Tech. Shot clock inside of 10 for Collins. Fritz, nice pump fake. Collins looks at the three, takes the three. Unorthodox shot that she knocks down her 40th three-pointer of the season. Collins with 3 20-point games this year. Snutta Collins has been, I mean, in my opinion, we can go on a quick 5-0, 7-0 run in the blink of an eye because of what they're able to do defensively and the momentum that Snutta Collins brings. And you hear this crowd coming alive right now. Well, one thing Krista Gerlich has talked about is the crowd this year. The last 5 games has been outstanding. It is loud, and they got another good crowd here tonight. I mean, and that's their 6th man. Krista said sometimes, you know, the way we play, we can get a little bit gassed, and having our 6th man and the urgency and the importance of defending our home court is incredibly important that we get them engaged and we have people out here. And they've been fantastic this year, but Snutta Collins in the last blink of an eye, minute, 40 seconds from the three to the big block, those are momentum types of plays. And then the assist over here, I mean, she just impacts this team in so many ways. And a lot of them don't even necessarily show up on the stat sheet. Maupin throws up to Prayer, not going to get it. Rebound taken away by Davis, who averages over 6 rebounds a ball game. On the turnover, Maupin is going to be fouled. Yep. Yeah, that's the right call. That was a clear path in the open floor. Bailey helping the officials, making the signal, but it was already called. That's a breakdown from Kansas defensively. You can't not be matched up or understand where Danae Fritz is in transition and in the open floor. They were wanting a flagrant in the full court, not going to be that. So Texas Tech taking it out here in the half court, looking to work on that half court execution. You can see, man, just in the blink of an eye, the momentum. Wow. How about Davis comes up with a rejection on Collins? Davis with 1 foul. That was a physical block, in my opinion. That's her 15th block of the year. Tech's got to ratchet it up on defense. Davis with 10 points in that opening quarter. Goes down low again. This time they double her. Tech comes up with a rebound after the miss. That's what they want Davis to do, is kind of force that kind of turnaround off balance back to the middle of the floor. If you allow her just a simple look over either shoulder baseline, that is a very high percentage shot. She's not going to miss many of those. And Davis gets the rebound. That is her 3rd of the ball game already to go along with those 10 points. And a block. Bristow is going to foul Sabaya Nichols, a junior out of Overland Park, Kansas. That'll be the 2nd foul here for Jalen Bristow, who will come out. We're keeping a really close eye just on the foul count right now. Bristow 2, Nunez 2, Sanogo 2. Kansas right now just 4 team fouls compared to Texas Tech with 7. And Brandon Schneider was talking about that. We had a feeling there were going to be a lot of fouls called in tonight's game. No place to go for Brittany Harshaw, the junior out of Andover, Kansas. Spent 2 years at Creighton. Here is Nichols. It's good defense. You see Texas Tech really doing a good job there in the paint, just sending that help and making those last couple of possessions in the paint. But they got to get Bailey Maupin going. I will say, when you look at this matchup right now, you think of Samaya Nichols, you think of Bailey Maupin, the veteran leaders of both of these teams.
Well, in that first quarter, Texas Tech starters did not fare well. Only 2 of 7 shooting.
Well, for Kansas, I mean, it's really been Jalea Davis. She's got 10. Elle Evans came in, hit a 3. So, I mean, it is a defensive chess match. I will say that.
These two coaches know each other quite well. Nichols, right side, bangs into Malone. Tech comes up with a loose ball.
2 bodies on the
7th
floor.
turnover for Kansas. Maupin plants the feet, doesn't get the home bounce.
That hit everywhere on the rim, but that was interesting. I thought for sure that was going to go down.
Quick little flick.
In the last couple of possessions, well, part of what Kansas wanted to do was try to keep the ball out of Maupin's hands and try to make her as uncomfortable as they possibly can. It was effective in that first quarter, and I heard Bailey and shoot-around today, if I get an inch of space, I'm taking it. So last 2 possessions, she's coming down and she's pulling it early in the clock just to try to get herself going. And again, she is being limited right now with her touches with the defense that Kansas is bringing.
17 games with at least 1 3-pointer made for Bailey Maupin. Foul's going to go against Texas Tech. Emily Blacklock will check into the ball game for the Lady Raiders, the senior out of right here in Lubbock, Texas. And Lily Meister checking back into the lineup for Kansas.
Yeah, paying attention to Bailey Maupin's shot selection. She's 1 for 5 in this game. Pulled 2 quick threes. I think she had 1, maybe a couple where she was attacking the rim, but the length of Kansas, impactful. So it's really interesting. I mean, both teams 3 blocks early in this game.
Kansas shooting 35% of this so far in this game. And in Big 12 play, opponents shoot just 40% against Texas Tech.
9 fouls now on Texas Tech.
Malone picks up another foul. Kansas with 20 on the shot clock. Inside to Davis. Malone works over to the side, but no problem for the freshman.
Malone just still with 1. That last foul was given to Sydney Love, and the reason I'm paying attention is because Texas Tech is kind of towing that line right now and potentially some foul trouble. So Malone's got to be able to play the rest of these next 5.5 minutes without fouling. But man, this has been a very choppy game in terms of just stoppage of play and the physicality that both of these teams are playing with.
Again, Kansas is left to play here in the opening half. Big game for Kansas. The players and coaches understand the enormity of this game, but like Krista Gerlich has talked about this whole season, and Brandon Schneider taking the same stance, you got to win the next possession. They're not thinking ahead of next week or the week after that in the Big 12 tournament.
On that possession there, I mean, you had Jada Malone with the ball in her hands, one-on-one in the post. You've got to be able to go to work. They need her to be aggressive there. Working on up and under, a step through, all those things will work when you're one-on-one down in the paint.
Malone's usually pretty good at that. I mean, she is shooting 62% this season. On her career, over 50% shooting. Well, Bailey Maupin's going to be called for the foul. That'll be her first personal. And fans here inside of United Supermarkets Arena getting a little edgy. Up ahead to Harshaw. Canessa, last 3 games, just 1 of 8 shooting. They'll probably back off her. Nunez with the steal, and then
freshman.
That's something that Nunez does. We talk
to this staff, preach about the defense, and how stingy they are and how much time they commit to the defensive end of the floor, and understanding defense is going to travel. That's going to take them to a lot of places this year, and that's what they've been able to hang their hat on.
Well, Krista Gerlich, one of the last things she told the team yesterday after practice was, we've got to play our game, not their game. And I think they played Kansas's game in the first 10 minutes.
Correct. I would say that is well said in terms of just the energy. And the defense is what fuels Texas Tech offensively. You know, some people want to play harder when they start making shots. Texas Tech, it's differently. You know, when they start getting stops and they're bringing that momentum, their offense thrives off of that.
Shot clock at 2. Kansas is going to have to get it up. They get it off right at the buzzer. Nice job.
Kansas trying to eliminate some of those open three-point looks. Love has been so good coming off the bench and being a spark offensively for Texas Tech.
Well, 2 of the last 3 games, she's been in double figures and has shot 50% the last 3 games, and 3 of 8 from 3. Tech with a 3-point advantage. That is their biggest of the ball game. We go inside of 3:45 to play here in the opening half.
And the turnovers starting to pile up here for the Jayhawks, as you see. What a perfectly placed pass. I mean, it helps when you're throwing it to Snutter Collins.
Yes.
You can go elevate and get anything. But I think the difference is, like you had said, just defensively, Texas Tech has really settled into what they want to do. In Kansas, those turnovers starting to really pile up here. Those mistakes in the half court has been the difference in why Texas Tech has been able to take the lead. They're leading this quarter 13-4.
Kansas had 4 turnovers in that opening quarter. They have 5 here in the second. Here's Collins, who a year ago was selling Nissan cars.
I think it's one of the coolest.
Didn't think she'd ever play basketball again.
Found out she had another year of eligibility. Made her way here to Texas Tech and is having a career season. I think it's one of the best stories in all of college hoops right now, just her ability to come back and how good she's been. I'm excited to see where her pro career can take her.
You know, we've relayed the story before. We spent a lot of time with Snutter Collins out of Brookhaven, Massachusetts. First day of practice, she was grinning ear to ear before that first game. And I remarked to her about how she's smiling. She goes, "This is the first time in a long time I've been this happy." Of where she is and playing basketball again. Kansas will have it, 18 on the shot clock.
This defense is suffocating right now. It is suffocating Kansas in the full court.
Malone's going to come back in. Sarah Sonogo will go out. That's something Krista Gerlich told us at the beginning of the year, that for the first time in the previous 5 years she's been here at Tech, she actually has players that understand her defense, can play the defense, and can substitute people who can come in and play the defense. Love over Danae Fritz. Love almost snuck in to get the rebound. Copeland sees the double, has to give it up to Evans. Harshaw with the 3, no. Inside of 3 minutes to play here in the half. Texas Tech up by 5. Have outscored Kansas 26-21 here in the second. Collins, a little scoop, no. Pretty good defense though by Reagan Williams, a sophomore out of Kansas City. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Baseline cut off. Copeland kicks it back on top. Williams has to give it up. Meister. Got it.
Meister getting on the board here in this one. Need, like you said, that second, third, fourth level score for Kansas. And right now, it's actually interesting. Samaya Nichols, who I think it's safe to say is not 100%, has been held scoreless so far in this first half. Currently not out. She's out on the bench. Got a little bit of some injuries right now. Bailey Maupin doing what Bailey Maupin does best, which is drawing contact off the bounce and being aggressive, attacking a lane line.
Foul's going to be on Sanaya Copeland. Here in the second, Knessa comes back into the lineup. Copeland goes out. And Brandon Schneider very high on Sanaya Copeland this season. Says she's playing her role well. And she's playing the way I want her to play and hope she would play this year. There's Bailey Maupin.
She brings the energy for this Kansas team. She usually has one of the toughest assignments defensively.
That's where she's been outstanding, Brandon was telling us today. Maupin's got 5 in the ball game. Maupin, who didn't score in that opening quarter. Over the outstretched hands of Maupin. Fritz the rebound as we go inside of 1:30 to play here in the second. Texas Tech hasn't hit a field goal over 2 minutes and 40 seconds now.
Well, you think about it, you got Jalea Davis and Samaya Nichols sitting there over on the bench, and so who's going to step up right now for Kansas? It's important. They got to get a stop here, this possession, and try to come down with a little momentum, but Jada Malone, big offensive rebound. I like the battle. That's a good play there by Meister down low, but for Kansas right now, getting outscored 17-6 in this second frame. It is imperative they come up with a stop and come down and try and execute in the half court. Give themselves a little bit of momentum headed into halftime.
Nunez and Blacklock checking the lineup for Texas Tech. Love and Fritz go out for the Lady Raiders. Here's Collins. They gave her some space. She'll take that and usually makes that. Canessa the rebound. 60 seconds left to play here in the second. Now Kansas with a golden opportunity to cut into that lead down to 3. Texas Tech just 2 for their last 12. Haven't hit a field goal in almost 3 minutes and 30 seconds now.
Definitely another opportunity. I mean, you got Nichols with 2, Davis with 2. Great attacking play there from Harshaw, trying to be aggressive and making a play. Can Kansas get another stop right now?
Nunez gives up a lot of height to Reagan Williams. Collins elevates, doesn't get it. And Kansas with a chance to pull within 1 or maybe even tie.
That is an interesting shot. I thought Kansas might hold and look to try to get the final shot there of the possession, but they didn't. Al Evans looking to just be aggressive. Texas Tech, same thing. So we'll give Kansas an opportunity
Evans
at the buzzer.
launches, doesn't get it.
Very interesting. Both teams had a chance to hold it for the final shot. Productive as she has been, she's just now getting back into game flow, especially on the defensive end of the floor.
I tell you, if you're Kansas, you got to find a way to get Samaya Nichols involved. Only took 2 field goal attempts in that first 20 minutes, no points. This is somebody that gets to the line 8 times a game and didn't visit the line. Here's the press again. Kansas done a nice job working against this press.
When you look
at Nichols,
you talked about the paint points at half, where Kansas winning that category 16-8. That has got to be a point of emphasis for Krista Gerlich. They felt like coming into this game, we needed to establish ourselves better on the interior. With Jada Malone, you saw Sarah Sonogo going into her early, that first possession of the second half.
Oh, that was a good defensive play. Danae Fritz goes over the screen, but that allowed Meister just to roll right to the hole. Couldn't finish it out. Here's Fritz on top, Bristow.
Well, and you talk about the foul trouble, too. Both teams had foul trouble in the first half. Nichols, Copeland, Davis for Kansas, Nunez, Bristow, Sonogo for Texas Tech. So we're starting to see just more of the natural rotations out here to start this second half. Bristow looking to get going. They need her to be aggressive. She's just 1 of 5 in this game so far.
Possession arrow will belong to Kansas. Heady play, though, by Maupin just to come up with that basketball. Bailey Maupin, the senior, coming off a 25.6 rebound effort versus Houston. And they gave out Bailey Maupin shirts tonight. I think it was so cute walking around the concourse before the game, all the little girls putting their Bailey Maupin shirt on and carrying their Bailey Maupin poster. That's someone that is a role model here in this part of Texas.
Well, she has really risen the standard.
A long pass ahead, that's going to be a turnover.
We got to take it. Bailey's got a smile on her face right now. Unbelievable circus shot down there around the rim.
Both parents went to Texas Tech.
Great defensive play there by Sonogo and Bristow. That's tough when you're going up against that type of length, and Bailey Maupin just.
You do that in your backyard against your brothers.
That's pretty cool.
Not in a Big 12 game.
Well, we knew that Kansas was going to make her uncomfortable. She's going to have to make tough shots in this game if she wants to really, make an impact on the scoring, and she will. We saw her, kind of be aggressive, taking early threes within possessions. But right now, again, pay attention to how Texas Tech is really pounding the ball inside, looking to establish someone. Right now, it's Sonogo trying to get those paint points and those high percentage looks.
On the drive, Williams got the layup. Reagan Williams comes in averaging just under 9 points a ball game, and they wanted to push her off the block and not allow her to do what she just did. Here is Nunez. Bristow inside, throws up the shot. No, Davis pulls it away. That'll be her 4th rebound of the ball game. The lead is 5.
Samaya Nichols still scoreless in this game, only 2 shot attempts. I think Nichols, in my opinion, one of the absolute best point guards in the country, and that's what she does best right there. She uses her size and her physicality to attack a lane line and really muscle her way to the rim. Leads the country in free throws and free throw attempts. She's already broken the school record, just a junior. Nichols really looking to get herself going again. I don't think she's 100%, but when you talk to this Kansas staff, Brandon Schneider, the assistants, they talk about her physical toughness and her mental toughness.
I tell you, Samaya Nichols' relationship with Brandon Schneider, and when she came to Kansas, she was one of the highest recruits ever to come to that school in their history. Second fastest KU history to hit 1,000. But she said her relationship with Brandon is so close. If I was to get married, he'd be one of my bridesmaids, which I think is still one of the great lines I've heard. At least she has a sense of humor. And the lead is cut down to 3. A lot of time left in this one. Collins being guarded by Davis. Now Collins goes to the other side. Davis follows. Collins launches. No. Vanessa with a rebound. There you go. The first field goal made by Nichols tonight.
Well, and I just love, that Samaya Nichols can get herself going from the free throw line, but then just showing her strength and ability to go finish on the other side of the rim. She's got such great size and power to her game.
Nunez tried to cut to the hole, but Nichols was right with her. Whistle and a foul is going to be called. And our officials tonight, Michael McConnell, Nikisha Thompson, and Iffy Seals. And that foul is going to be on Libby Fandel, the freshman out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
4-star recruit. Let's talk about the number 7th ranked recruiting class in the country last year. Brandon Schneider in Kansas. Obviously Davis a large part of that. You got Parks, Brown. Doing a great job of recruiting there at Kansas. Julia Davis-Allen obviously highlighting that class, a 5-star recruit. Still scoreless here the second half.
And he's got another incredible class coming in after this year too. Maupin. Vanessa took one in the face and had to back away, and Michael McConnell's going to call the timeout. Looked like she got poked in the eye accidentally. And she backed off Maupin immediately, and they're going to take a look at her.
The previous play is under review for a possible unobserved foul.
Going to execute not only the rest of this quarter, but in that 4th and final quarter. Massive game for the Jayhawks. Davis pull-up jumper, no, taken away by Nunez. Fritz quickly spotting up on the near side. Collins playing straight up with Williams. Here's Fritz. Malone brings out Davis. Beautiful pass inside. Bailey Maupin. She's got 9 in the ball game. That stops a 6-0 Kansas run.
Well, and Bailey Maupin, it does a lot of things well, but that is a very ability off the basketball and reading what the defense is giving her. She's so good at back cutting. If you're going to overplay her, and her teammates know, as you saw, they know how to hit her on those back cuts.
Malone now trying to keep Davis off the block. On the drive, Copeland, no. Kansas coughs it up as we go inside of 5 minutes to play in the third. And we have a clock problem down the other end.
Shot clock did not start.
They've got quite the following.
Well, and every possession this time of year is critical. And so both teams understanding what that type of challenge, that type of foul call means in a game that's a one-possession game.
It's Brandon Schneider telling his team, you got to win the next possession. Nichols from outside, scoreless in the first half. Maupin pulls it away. Lady Raiders up by 3. Danae Fritz thought about it. Quickly, she was covered up on the play by Davis. On the drive, Maupin, no.
Two good looks. I mean, you get Elle Evans in the corner. She's shooting 50%. You got Bailey Maupin looking to attack the rim. Now she's attacking baseline. Finally, just a few possessions here where there wasn't a stoppage of play. It's been a rarity in this game. As you see Maupin and the length. This has been a game that has just been, it's hard to find any type of flow, and you credit both of these teams and what they bring defensively, not just in the half court, but the full court, the length.
Bailey Maupin going over 1,700 career points with her next basket.
And that is going to be a foul on Copeland. You see this matchup right now. Kansas wants to make Bailey Maupin so uncomfortable, so they've assigned Copeland, who gets the toughest assignment every single night for Kansas. Maupin trying to work hard on that back cut. Watching these two go at it right now, it has been fun to watch. And how Bailey's trying to be, as savvy as she possibly can, trying to get open on that back cut. They did call the foul. So Copeland goes out. She's got 3, so she's going to have to take a seat.
Vanessa comes back into the lineup. Here is Snutta Collins. Launches and buries the 3. The last 4 games, Texas Tech has averaged 9 3-pointers made a game.
And that breaks.
And they've got 5 tonight.
That breaks a little bit of a lull, really, for both of these teams, just offensively. Conesa looking to drop down to Davis, who has been held scoreless here in the second half. Still just sitting at 12 points. All came early in this game. And you look at Collins, and this is what makes Collins such a matchup nightmare. She's incredibly athletic. Okay, so she impacts the games on both ends of the floor. She's got the mid-range pull-up. She can score at all 3 levels with her ability to attack off the paint. But when she is shooting 44% from the 3-point line, you really have to pick your poison, as you see Samaya Nichols doing what she does best. Once again, attacking off the dribble and trying to get herself going at the free throw line.
Jada Malone picks up her 3rd personal foul, reaching in. It looked like it was all ball. But that's going to send Nichols to the line. 8 free throw attempts a game. Number 1 in Kansas history in free throws made. Passing Lynette Woodard.
So you got Copeland with 3, Bristow for Texas Tech with 3, and Jada Malone with 3.
Woodard was talking to Samaya Nichols about some goals, and Samaya said, I turned around, she said, I'll try. And Woodard goes, no, don't try it, just do it.
Yeah, I like that. I heard that story. I thought that was really cool.
Lynette Woodard, one of the all-time greats in the history of basketball. Bristow outside, no. Maupin fights for the rebound, almost came up with it, but Kansas will have it with 3:01 to play.
I just wish Bristow would have been a little more fluid and in motion with that shot. I thought she hesitated just a second, thinking about whether she was going to take it or not.
Well, she averages 11.5 Bristow a game, but the last 6 games she's only had 1 double-figure game. Mainly because her shot attempts have gone down. Conessa, the floater. That's going to be an offensive foul, and again, Adley Blacklock does it again.
That is what Adley Blacklock brings to Texas Tech. Lady Raider basketball, understanding scouting reports. Laya Conesa, her floater in the lane, and Glock, Nunez, Bailey Maupin do so effectively for Texas Tech. Even for Nunez, that's a rare miss, but I like this. With a free throw line in a game like this, especially this time of year. So Bailey Maupin being able to step up and knock down these free throws. Right now, Kansas winning that category 8-10. Texas Tech, this one right here will be their 10th attempt of the game. I mean, what a weird game this has been in terms of just the fouls, the foul trouble. This is February basketball between two teams who are really trying to gut this win out. It takes a lot of incredible focus in a game that is played to like this, when it's so choppy, to stay focused and try to come up with a win.
Nunez lost the handle. Krista Gerlich's been talking to her team about this, that with the target on their back, because they're having a pretty successful season, every win's got to be gritty. You got to make that one play. Collins over Davis's hand and inside. Pushes it out to Bristow. Collins again. Collins on the drive. Count it. Snutta Collins has a dozen.
I love it wasn't a broken play. It was a broken defense because of the offensive rebound that Adley Blacklock was able to come down with. And great job getting the ball to Snutta Collins' hand where she can be aggressive off the dribble. They've taken that away from Collins here tonight, at least tried to make her uncomfortable. And so being aggressive in that possession was huge to stretch this game out. And right now, Kansas, up until that point, had no field goals for the last 4 minutes. But Elle Evans gets space. And listen, she don't need a lot of space. She's 6'3", right. From the 3-point line, shooting 50%.
Well, it's funny. I was telling Brandon Schneider today, I said, Collins is coming off her worst game of the year, where she scored only 5 points. Only 1 of 4 shooting. He goes, so you're telling me she's due? Bristow, no. And that'll be a foul on Kansas.
Julia Davis is going to pick up her 3rd foul. Been quiet here this second half. Freshman definitely getting frustrated at times with some of these foul calls and the choppiness of this game. She'll learn how to play through some of these frustrations. I think right now what we're seeing, we talk about it before, is Texas Tech, they tag. And when we say tag, we talk about this program talks about a lot. When Texas Tech shoots the ball offensively, you're going to see 5 players look like they're crashing the offensive glass. That's not necessarily what they're doing, although it puts them in position to come up with offensive rebounds. But they're crashing the backs of players, and at times that creates some contact, and that's where that last foul came down, was with Julia Davis trying to block out on that contact.
Nichols being hounded. Love, nice job. Fritz comes up with a loose ball. Gets it to Love. If you go to a Texas Tech practice, you hear the coaches all the time when they're going up against their practice players yelling, tag, tag, tag. That's something they work on constantly. Here's Love out front. They switch now. Davis has her. Blacklock, the 3-point specialist, can't get it. Collins tried to go over the back, and she's going to commit the foul. And that'll be only her 2nd personal foul.
Sends Samaya Nichols to the free throw line.
And again, she lives at the line, and a solid 83% free throw shooter.
Quiet night for Nichols, 6 points, 1 of 4 from the field. And her points have come from the free throw line, which is normal, but still not even getting as many attempts or trips as she's accustomed to. Part of that first half foul trouble that we talked about. We've got 29 foul calls in this game at the end of the 3rd quarter. A physical game without a shadow of a doubt by 2 very good defensive teams.
Reagan Williams comes in. Julia Davis will go out. And here's Love. 5-point advantage for Texas Tech. They've led by as many as 8. Kansas led by as many as 10 early in the game. Love works hard. Nice job. Tried to keep Copeland off her, and she did.
Well, part of the reason that look and that seam was open for Love was because Kansas was spending so much energy on that backside action with Collins and Bristow and the Iverson cut off of Danae Fritz, and that's a great job of Love, just being aggressive. She is a scoring point guard, gives Texas Tech a different look from that position.
But she averaged over 10 points a game last year at UTSA. Had those headaches early on in the season. Love launches, can't get it. Meister comes up with a loose ball, but that's the way the 3rd quarter will come to an end. And for the 2nd quarter in a row, Texas Tech scores 17 and outscores Kansas by 2. We'll head to the final 10.
Got to look really at these teams. This is about toughness right now and finding ways to battle through the stoppages and not allowing that to frustrate you.
Yeah, Fritz doing a great job on Nichols. Didn't allow them to inbound the ball to her. Now she goes over the screen, but she'll commit the foul. I think when you look at the numbers, Kansas, no points off turnovers since the 1st quarter. You got to give kudos to Tech on that. Kansas had 10 points in the paint in the 1st quarter. They've only had 12 since. So Tech's tighten things up. Inside Davis.
Looking to go inside to Davis, who remains scoreless here this 2nd half. She's got 12 points, has not scored. You see Davis looking for that kind of high-low, over-the-top lob pass.
Foul's going to be on Jada Malone. That'll be her 4th.
Yep. 4 fouls on Malone, just kind of holding down there in the paint. She'll stay in the game, though. And that's too much space for Elle Evans. Great job from Evans on that pop-out action. Getting that clean of a look, that's a money shot.
And Evans has 11 in the ball game. Lead cut down to 2. Fritz tries to respond, can't get it. Malone, nice position on Williams inside. Davis reaches in. They're going to call that a jump ball. Possession arrow will belong to Tech.
A little bit of a risky play there from Davis. Now Malone, I think grabs the offensive rebound, but instead of kind of being aggressive and making a play, she brought it down closer to her waist. You want to kind of keep that ball higher and look to chin and make a quick move, or kick it out and look to repost after that on that offensive rebound.
Well, Malone did go out, going to get a breather. Sonogo comes back in. Maupin launches the three. And we're going to have a foul on the loose ball.
Well, I'll be interested because there was a tie-up with Davis and Bristow. And then there was a tie-up with Elle Evans, and so
that's only her second.
There were a couple different awkward plays and contact on that last possession. I thought they could have called that on.
Bristol looked like she had a step on Davis, picked up her dribble. Sonogo out front, hands it off Love. Love with 5 to shoot. Left side, left-handed off the glass nicely. Love has 7.
I will say about Sydney Love, it always feels like when Texas Tech needs a little bit of momentum or they need a big bucket, she's been able to provide that for this team, especially in a game like this. And Jalen Bristow with a huge emphatic block, but ends up being a foul on Bristow. That'll be her 4th of the game.
Well, you talk about Love, and one of the things Krista Gerlich was telling at the beginning of the season, last year they did not have a true point guard. Bailey Maupin had to do all the work. This year they have 2 of them with Nunez and Love, and she said Love was going to be so important to this team down the stretch. And here's Reagan Williams out of Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, she gives him a different look. She said the other day to me, because she's got a little bit of a different bounce in her, a different rhythm to how she plays, because she doesn't have as many miles as some of her other teammates. Right. And so just from a freshness perspective, Sydney Love really helps this team from an offensive standpoint, what she brings from an energy standpoint.
Williams, a member of the all Big 12 freshman team last season. Father played football at Oklahoma, got a brother playing at Florida State. Here's Maupin. Going into that 2-point advantage. On top, Love. Love working on Nichols. Collins on Davis. Tough shot, nice defense, Davis. And that's going to be on Davis.
That's a frustrating foul for the freshman, her 4th foul in this game. She's going to have to come out. You see the body language. She's mad at herself. You don't want to foul jump shooters. The entire game plan of Kansas was to force Netta Collins into that type of shot where she attacks off the dribble, they plug with their gap help, they make her spin back and shoot a fadeaway contested 17, 16, whatever foot jumper, contest that shot. Makes Netta Collins make tough shots, but you can't send her to the free throw line and foul her on that possession. She'll learn. Jalea Davis will learn.
Oh, that's, part of being a freshman is learning defense. Collins.
But that was great execution defensively from Kansas to force her into that shot.
Williams pulls down the rebound into the hands of the veteran Nichols, the junior out of Overland Park, Kansas, whose motto now is, I am, not I'll try. Maupin picks up the foul. That'll be only her 2nd personal. One of the few players not really in any foul trouble here in this game. Just about 2 minutes gone by here in the 4th. Maupin gave Evans a lot of room. Kansas tosses it away. That'll be the 17th turnover. And then Maupin drains point number 1,703.
10 points off turnovers now for Texas Tech. That's why you cannot make mistakes like that in the half court. You're going to get high percentage shots out of Bailey Maupin, who I have to give Kansas a lot of credit to. They've really limited her touches.
Well, Danae Fritz is upset at herself. Danae Fritz has done such an outstanding job guarding usually the opponent's best shooter, and she has kept them, for the most part this season, below their average. She thought she was just playing some pretty good, strong defense. But Danae picks up the foul, and that'll be her 2nd.
Well, Kansas is in the bonus for the rest of this 4th quarter.
Well, 20% of Kansas's points come from the free throw line. That's a lot. And Nichols will go to the stripe. Already 6 free throw attempts here in the 2nd half for Savia Nichols.
All right, I hope you don't have to be anywhere by 8 o'clock because we're going to be here a little longer.
I said 8:10.
No,
that was my guess before the game.
It's going to be longer than that.
If we get out of here at 8:10, we'll be lucky. Samaya Nichols on everybody's watch list for just about every award possible.
Kansas Jayhawks number 6, Flau'jae, and number 23, Brittany Herschel.
I think you're going to give Nichols a little bit of a rest.
Nichols with 3 fouls. Jalea Davis with 4. On Texas Tech, Jalen Bristow with 4 and Jada Malone with 4. They remain on the bench. Sarah Sanogo in now.
You're buying time now.
Well, you're able to go a little bit smaller, in my opinion. You know, I mean, you can play Snetta Collins at play Snetta Collins like four different positions.
Give it up ahead to Harp. 18 for Kansas. Kansas only averages 16 turnovers a game. They've got 18 tonight. Love with 10 on the shot clock. Oh, nice look inside. Sarah Sanogo.
I was actually going to say Sarah Sanogo got out of that pick and roll screening action a little bit slow, but maybe the fact that she was slow to pivot in terms went with Love, and I'm surprised that wasn't a travel. Wide open. That is as clean of a look for Sarah Sanogo in the paint that we have seen this entire night.
Well, the last 2 games, Sarah Sanogo's had only 3 field goal attempts and a total of 6 points. She's got 4 field goal attempts and a total of 6 points tonight. At the line is going to be Reagan Williams.
No field goals for Kansas in the last 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
What's amazing about Reagan Williams, when you dig into her career, she didn't even play high school hoops until her senior year.
That's wild.
Now she's playing in a premier Big 12 team. It's a testament to her hard work.
She's such a good finisher. She's so active. I think with Jalea Davis being out for those 9 games earlier in the season, gave Williams an opportunity to kind of thrive and to get a little more comfortable with her role on this team.
Maupin lost the handle. They were getting physical with her. Copeland really getting physical with Bailey Maupin. Bailey Maupin in her career at Texas Tech has seen every kind of physicality. Whatever teams now are throwing at her, she's already seen 100 times. She got beat up a lot last year.
Now we have the refs kind of blowing the whistle and looking at each other, wondering if there was something called, but they're just basically.
I think they thought Brandon called a timeout.
Yeah, I think so too, but this has been a very strange game, I have to say.
Okay, we've got it all cleared up. Mike McConnell going to give us a little explanation, maybe.
Kansas was trying to appeal the out-of-bounds play, but because the ball became live, it was too late to appeal.
So Brandon Schneider looking to challenge that out-of-bounds possession, but because the ball went live, it was too late, is what we were just told. So.
And now Kansas putting out a little pressure. Collins has it swiped away. Good quick hands by Reagan Williams. 10th
turnover there for Texas Tech. An opportunity for Kansas. Again, these games, when it is this frustrating and bizarre, it's hard as a player. It's hard to be in these types of situations. It's about composure and keeping a level head and not allowing frustration to get to best of you. And when you do get an opportunity for the game flow to take place, you've got to be ready to make plays, which is really hard when the game has not gone that way from start to finish. There's been virtually zero flow in this game whatsoever.
Canessa. Baseline, nice job. Sanogo coming over, but that was pretty by Brittany Harshaw.
That's the second shot that Harshaw's made when Kansas's premier players of, Davis and Nichols are on the bench. She's been able to come in and make a couple of buckets, which has been really big. For Kansas, it's about who's going to step up outside of Nichols and Davis.
Sanogo with a little sweeping hook. Can't get it, but does draw the contact and the foul. I don't know who's more fired up, Texas Tech players or Krista Gerlich. She is fired up on the sideline. I think she wanted another foul, not going to get it. There was a foul called, and that was on Sarah Sanogo. That'll be her third.
So Kansas is in the bonus for the remainder of the quarter. They will be shooting free throws. Texas Tech a little bit to go. Still only 2 fouls on Kansas this quarter. which obviously very much works in Kansas's favor. That's where they want to be. That's where they generate a lot of their offense.
Meister 65% from the stripe. Averages just over 9 points a ball game, and she's got 5 so far tonight.
And that's where my keys, starting out the game, which really works for both teams. Who can play the game without fouling? Who's going to win the battle at the charity stripe? Is going to be really important. Wow, the final outcome of this game is going to be, and that is a turnover there.
Unforced.
Unforced. Just Bailey Maupin caught a little off guard there from the defense of Copeland. That is unusual. And again, whether that's focus, whether that's just a mishap, I think that's a direct result, again, how this game has gone.
Texas Tech with 11 turnovers. Love, nice defense. Meister up on top. Vanessa working on Love. Fans thought she carried it. Shot won't go. Sanogo, quick outlet to Maupin. Tech wants to push it when they get the rebound. Danae Fritz for 3. Bailey Maupin last to poke that. Collins is down, holding on to the left leg. Boy, you don't want to see that. We're going to have a timeout, 4:35 to play in the contest. Texas Tech has gone over 2 minutes without scoring a point, but they still lead it by 1. Love out front, quickly picked up by Williams. I tell you, I really like this Kansas team. Their record is not even close to how good this team is.
That's a great job there by Copeland, just blowing up that dribble handoff action, and what a rare miss from Samaya Nichols at the rim. I'm telling you, if she takes that shot 100 times, she's going to miss it maybe once.
She averages 18 points, but Nichols only 10 tonight. 1 of 6 from the floor. Maupin draws 3 blue jerseys. Lost the ball. Possession arrow belonged to 6 straight weeks. The Big 12 Freshman of the Week. Ties the Big 12 record for that category. Now they got Sarah Sanogo with a hand on her.
Texas Tech with 4 turnovers over the last 3 minutes. A reminder, Kansas is in the bonus. They're shooting free throws, so it's really...
But when you get over to this side of the floor, you not only have 2 Texas Tech defenders, you have the sideline out of bounds as the 3rd defender.
Well, and Tech will bait you in that full court. And, you know, every coach starting from junior high will tell you, don't bring the ball over half court and pick it up right in this corner, right across from where I'm standing. That timeout very much needed as we look at Kansas 1-9 when trailing after the 3rd quarter.
I remember one coach last year telling us that when she calls this the idiot corner. I heard that. I go, okay, that's one of the better lines I've heard about this. She goes, it's the idiot corner.
Yeah,
3:11 to play in regulation. 3 timeouts left for Kansas. 2 timeouts left for Texas Tech. Documented the foul situation. Here's Nichols. Great players usually make great plays in this situation. Nichols is one of those great players. Collins comes over to help out and drops it. Only her 2nd.
First of all, 3-level scorer, but she's also a great facilitator. Averages just around 6 assists per game in terms of what we haven't really seen her be able to do that much tonight because of all the different foul trouble.
Boy, Copeland is all over Maupin. Maupin pull up baseline jumper, rattles it. Maupin has 18 in the ball game, 3 better than her season average.
Yeah, I mean, this is when I see players like taking matters into her own hands. Her first points of the 2nd half. Normally, that's not how she's generating her points. No. She's not bringing the ball down in the full court and scoring at the rim. They're coming from down on the block.
Bailey Maupin, 98 double-digit games in her career. That's going to be a hold.
And Jalea Davis just fouled out. You see the frustration. Throws her hands up in the air. Can't believe it. Jalea Davis will foul out in this game. Finishing with 14 points, 5 of 10 shooting, 4 rebounds, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Thank you. Snutta Collins in that type of matchup, if she would have settled for a contested jumper there at that free throw line, it is so hard. There are very few people, in my opinion, that can match up with Snutta Collins off the bounce, especially when she can get downhill with her right hand. that is when she is so good with her ability to elevate, especially even through traffic. I mean, there is no one who can match up with Snedeker Collins in this gym right now, but Lily Meister.
You go back to the TCU game, and at the end, in post-game press conference, Coach Campbell said, we had no match for Collins.
Correct, and especially when she's shooting the ball as well as she is from the three-point line, 44%. Could not get that free throw to go. That was a much-needed.
Well, she's got 15 tonight. Tech has hit their last 3 field goal attempts. Now they turn up the defense. Who's going to be the person to step up? Will it be Nichols for Kansas? Sanogo comes over. Great job by Samaya Nichols.
She is so smart with her timing and her explosiveness off the bounce. And again, like some people might see that type of length around them, Sanogo, Bailey Maupin, but that's where Samaya Nichols thrives. Again, she leads the nation in creating contact and finishing around the rim. So explosive, so powerful. Her free throw line, comfortability, the rate she gets there. There is nobody better in the country. In a lot of ways, like she gets there like at a rate like Asia Wilson does in terms of her ability to be aggressive off the dribble down the lane line and finish through contact as well.
Big game could be for Krista Gerlich, looking for her 100th win as head coach at Texas Tech. But we're tied at 59. Whistle and a foul.
And that's going to be the 4th on Samaya Nichols. Free throws coming down critical. We called it. We called it from the start of this game. Who was going to knock down their free throws right now? Kansas 8 of 21, shooting 86%. Texas Tech 11 of 15, 73%. Critical moment here from Collins.
16 points for Collins. Double digits all but 2 games this season. Check it, all but 4 games this season. Had that season high 28 versus TCU. Huge free throw attempts.
Both teams in the bonus now. As
Malone goes out and Bristow comes in.
Bristow will come back in. Bristow with 4. And Malone who had 4, so just kind of not playing those two at the same time. Big critical moment right now. If Texas Tech can come up with a stop, Brandon Schneider wants a timeout.
That'll bring him down to 2 timeouts left. Texas Tech also with 2 timeouts left. 1 minute and 16 seconds left in regulation. We'll talk about only 2 home games remaining for Texas Tech. They go to Oklahoma State. That'll be on Valentine's Day, and then Baylor comes to town on the 12th. Of course, Texas Tech beating Baylor in Waco. And I asked Hema Nunez yesterday in practice, what's your highlight this year? And she says, beating Baylor. But Nikki Collins' team is going to be ready for that game when they come to Lubbock and then go to Colorado. And then they meet Kansas again on the 25th. Okay, my good friend and former partner Brenda Van Langen's probably just foaming at the mouth now. Can't wait for that game to be played.
Shout out Brenda if you're watching.
Yeah.
Most wonderful advocates for women's basketball in the country. We got a good one here in Lubbock.
Here's Nichols out front.
It's hard for me. I didn't have the angle. It looked like that went off of Samaya Nichols, but
Kansas will have it with 18 on the shot clock. 70 seconds left in regulation. Both teams have hit their last 3 field goal attempts.
How is that not 5 seconds? That was really close.
Yeah. Maupin goes down, quickly gets back up. Copeland drives hard, and she is going to be fouled on the play. 56% of her shots are threes. Elle Evans goes out. So they trade a 3-point shooter for another 3-point shooter, and here is Sanaya Copeland. Copeland has a career-high field goal percentage and free throw percentage this season.
That's the first basket from Copeland in this game. There's 1 point as she can't get the second one to go. Texas Tech down 1 now. I'm running action.
So sees the opening, left hand can't get it.
You know what? A lot of respect there for Bristow, who has not really found much of a rhythm in this game because she has been in foul trouble, but looking to be aggressive. She's 1 of 8. But given that left lane line, you know, when she's got a head full of steam and she can attack her rim, she does get to the free throw line quite a bit. This is her first trip here this game. Again, Bristow in foul trouble, so she's one of those players, in my opinion, maybe as much as Jalea Davis, Sly Nichols, Jalen Bristow certainly. I mean, those three especially have been impacted by the foul trouble in this game.
Well, Bristow has just absolutely had an incredible year this season. Last year she was limited in her playing time because of defensive liability, but she understood that.
Well, gutsy free throws there, you know, for Bristow, who's not allowing the
1,500 career points tonight. Kansas will burn their final timeout, trailing by 5.
Ice in her veins. Bailey Maupin, the heart and soul of
They're out of timeouts.
Texas Tech right now. Look, again, play the game without fouling. Try and force a contested shot.
Harshaw launches the 3 and buries it.
It's a big shot. How about Harshaw, who has been very quietly big for Kansas in this game? This is a player that...
Maupin got away from Copeland, and Copeland has to foul her.
So Texas Tech doing exactly what they want to do, getting the ball in the hands of Bailey Maupin. Again, the veteran leader, the experienced poise.
Hasn't missed a free throw tonight. Perfect 6 for 6.
83% on the season.
Averages over 4 free throw attempts a game. She's got 6 tonight and can add to her total. Another 20-point game for Bailey Maupin, her 5th of the year, 22nd of her career.
I knew when you said what you said that she was going to miss.
Yeah.
Broadcaster jinx.
Yeah, right.
Big one here.
I wish I was that powerful.
Still keeps it a single possession game. And I mean, this is a little scary in my opinion because you have some absolute snipers on Kansas in terms of their ability to shoot the ball. And Brandon Schneider's ability to execute in late game situation is, in my opinion, a high level, especially at the timeouts. But obviously can't call a timeout right now, having to go the length of the floor against the Texas Tech pressure. That's tough.
19.6 left. 19.7. They added a 10th of a second back on. Shot clock obviously turned off.
I'm a little surprised not to see Elle Evans in this rotation right now, but
I mean, like what I saw.
Still just a one-possession game. I mean, whether it's a 3 or whether you get some quick action to the rim, get yourself to the free throw line.
Copeland working on Love. He's done a nice job tonight for the Lady Raiders. Nichols out front. That's going to be an offensive foul.
An illegal screen there. Wow. By Harshaw. Brandon Schneider can't believe it. Elle Evans will sub back in along with Laya Conesa. We got a timeout.
Well, we're hoping to have Texas Tech head coach Krista Gerlich join us at the end of this game, if this lead holds up.
What'd you say, 8-10? What are we at, 8-21?
Our friend Brenna Van Langen, she didn't believe me. She said, she goes, I'm taking the over on that 8-10.
Yeah.
You know, we all have the sense. We've been doing this enough that you just get the sense of what it could be.
Again, two coaches that know each other literally like the back of their hands.
Known each other a long, long time.
I mean, it has been fascinating to watch this game defensively and the different players who've had to step up. I mean, for Kansas, it was Harshaw in this game. I actually think this has been a very balanced game for Kansas. I mean, you got Nichols with 15, Evans with 11, Julia Davis with 14, only in 25 minutes. Harshaw 7, Williams 8. I mean, and holding Texas Tech.
But we also talked about, okay, Davis is going to get her points, but they need that third and fourth person, second, third, or fourth person, and they didn't get that tonight.
Well, both teams holding each other to about 10 points below their average. It has been defensive chess match, choppy, one at the free throw line, one with composure, one with, forcing turnovers, coming up with big plays at critical moments.
Well, only 15 opponents of Texas Tech has shot over 33%. One of them is Kansas. They're at about 47% tonight. And here is Maupin. Again, 5 20-point games this season, 22 for her career.
And I'm like the biggest Bailey Maupin fan. And her toughness, her composure, she does so many things at a high level. You're not going to see Bailey Maupin make a lot of mistakes on either end of the floor.
And she knew that this was going to be her last year, and she wanted to make it special. The baseball touchdown pass, no. They're going to call a foul, I think, on Collins. She was impeding Williams.
No, it's on Jalen Bristow, so she'll foul out. So just a shove in the back on that overhand pass as we see Kansas having to go long. As we can see, wow, I mean, I don't.
Well, bottom line is Jalen Bristow goes out with 10.9 to play.
That's the playing without fouling, understanding time and score.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's a foul or not, I'm not going to sit here and debate, but in those types of situations, I mean, that's a turnover. That's Texas Tech's ball. I mean, Kansas is in desperation mode at that point, just trying to make something happen, and then you send them to the free throw line. Those are breakdowns.
Williams at the line with 8 points tonight. Perfect 5 for 5 from the stripe.
All right, Kansas getting up, looking to pressure, got a foul quickly. Texas Tech trying to play keep away.
Love's going to be fouled. They'll go down the other end. She's 76% from the stripe. Tech has taken 25 free throw attempts, have made 20 tonight. Krista Gerlich thought that was a key for him.
Well, it was a key for both of these teams, and that number was a little bit skewed in that third quarter, has evened out here. So we got into the later part of this game, obviously, and Kansas has been forced to foul to try to extend it. I almost need like a cough drop. My throat's getting pretty sore from need some water.
Love. Nice job tonight, Sydney Love. She's got 9 in the ball game to go along with 4 assists. With 5 seconds, no. Maupin will track down the loose ball, and that's going to do it. So Texas Tech